everyone. Welcome to another session of Coffee and Commerce. My name is Gundoju, and I'm the Vice President of Marketing and Customer Relations at StrikeTru. So we're in for a treat today. We're here to actually discuss how you can elevate your tech stack by discussing common challenges we hear for BigCommerce merchants facing in data migration and management, and what all of you can do about it. So this session in particular is dedicated to our BigCommerce merchants. You'll have an opportunity to post questions throughout the session, and we've actually set time aside at the end of the session for a Q&A segment. So we'll be recording this session, and the recording will be sent to all of you after today's segment. So today you'll actually be hearing from StrikeTru's co-founder and commerce expert, Vic, as he shares how you can elevate your tech stack by implementing one or more of our apps and services for your stores. So in particular, we're going to be highlighting the BigCommerce V2, V3 product migration app. We're also going to be sharing with you the BigCommerce multi-store migration services, along with PIM for BigCommerce and other digital channels, PIM for BigCommerce connector app, and BigCommerce to PIM catalog migration tool. So there is a lot that we're going to be covering in this hour, but rest assured, we'll send you the recording along with, at the end, Vic's going to also share with you where on our website you can go to for further details. So in particular, what's this session going to be about as we touch upon these tools that I just highlighted? We're going to first talk to you about what are some of these product data challenges that we hear from our merchants as we talk to them. And then based on these challenges, share with you what are some of the solutions and ways to navigate it. Getting started and moving forward, what you can do afterwards. And we're also going to talk to you about a recent case study where we had an opportunity to work with Fantom Wallet for their V2, V3 migration and the success behind it. So with that being said, Vic, it's all yours.
Thank you, Dolan. I will probably just give it a minute here. I see participants are still rolling in, so let's just hold for a minute and then get going with the rest of the presentation here. Okay, so let's get started here. So as Dolan was mentioning, the agenda is to really briefly cover the product data challenges that merchants commonly face, some of our solutions, and how do we get started, and follow that up with the case study and Q&A. So in no particular order, right, these are some of the common data challenges that merchants face, and we're particularly talking about BigCommerce merchants, although many of these challenges are common for other platform merchants as well. The first one especially is very BigCommerce specific, right? A lot of merchants are looking to migrate from V2 to V3 store experience, and that process, that migration process is manual, risky, and disruptive, and then it's preventing a lot of merchants from quickly migrating to V3 and taking benefits of that solution. A lot of merchants are also looking to move to multi-storefront, BigCommerce multi-storefront, and on the critical path to doing that is a V2 to V3 migration, but at a higher level, migrating multiple stores into a multi-storefront has similar challenges, right? Manual, risky, disruptive, if not at a larger scale. And when it comes to product data management in BigCommerce or catalog management in the BigCommerce admin section, a lot of merchants struggle with scaling their product data management efforts, as the tool, particularly the catalog management aspect of the tool, is not super efficient, and it's not scalable, especially if you're trying to grow your product counts or attribute counts, or if you're trying to launch products faster than otherwise possible. And another thing is a lot of merchants are selling or marketing through multiple digital channels, right? It's either one or more BigCommerce sites, possibly other platforms than Google Shopping and Amazon, eBay, and so on. There's multiple digital channels at play. All of them need the same product data, but merchants are struggling with not having a single source of product data where they can aggregate everything, create trust around that data, and then syndicate it to all the channels. And when it comes to just data management in general, customer experiences are definitely driven by the quality of the product details you provide online. And if you don't have good governance or good data quality as a result, it affects the customer experience. And this is another common challenge we see merchants struggle with. So at StrikeTru, we've been helping merchants for more than 12 or 13 years now, dealing with these challenges by providing services and solutions. And especially for BigCommerce merchants, we have a suite of solutions that can help them essentially take control of their product data and manage it in a much more agile fashion to drive commerce success. So I'm going to be talking about what those solutions are, how they fit into your solution landscape, and how do you get started. So let's move ahead and talk about one of our most recent apps that we've launched in the marketplace. It's the BigCommerce V2 to V3 product migration app. So if you're thinking, okay, what challenges does it resolve? I mean, essentially, we're talking to merchants that are looking to move to MSF store, and they have to migrate to V3 as a first step, or they're looking to migrate to V3 before BigCommerce will potentially end support for that. And a lot of them are also modernizing their tech stacks, and they're integrating systems like ERPs and PIM and DAM systems with their e-commerce stores, and they don't want to do it to V2 and then redo it to V3. Integrations are complex, so for that reason they're moving up to V3, or they want to move up to V3. And there's some other reasons, like taking advantage of the other features that BigCommerce has that are only V3 compatible. So they're looking to migrate to V3, and they want to do this with minimum store downtime, and they want to prevent or minimize the lost sales, because it does require putting the store in maintenance mode. It's not a simple process to migrate from V2 to V3. It's a series of manual steps that are very tricky and picky, and you make a mistake and it could cause damage. So merchants are not really looking forward to learning how to do that manually. They're looking for an automated, quick solution. They don't want to make mistakes in the process, and they also want to save themselves and their developers a lot of time and headache. And that's what our app is intended to do. It is a single-click app, or that's found on the BigCommerce apps marketplace. It is a self-service migration tool. It provides a wizard-style guided experience to migrate from V2 to V3. It can handle large and complex catalogs that could have a lot of products and SKUs, a lot of option sets and options, a lot of rules of different types, product pick lists that might be used to generate SKUs, configurable attributes, and things like that. So, we've tackled all those scenarios. This tool also provides merchants, an ability to preview the results of this conversion to V3 in a V3 sandbox. It essentially, after the results are previewed and okayed, it automatically converts all the V2 products and options and SKUs into V3 formats. Along the way, it provides useful catalog profiling reports that merchants can use for audit purposes. These reports are definitely not readily available in BigCommerce. So we provide a number of things like a list of your option sets, options, products and options, rules, what kind of rules. It also identifies all the products with configurable fields and exceptions that cannot be automatically transferred into V3. V2 allows for some things that V3 doesn't, so we identify those exception products that need to be handled. So you have a good idea of what you're getting into and what the exception products are that you can deal with either before the upgrade or after the upgrade. So, and this store is available online in the app marketplace. Our landing page provides a lot of details, including FAQ on our website, and we provide merchants the hand-holding required to migrate to V3 as part of our services that are bundled in with the software. All right, let's move on. When it comes to helping merchants migrate to MSF or multi-storefront, we provide expert services around that. But what are the challenges here? That merchants are trying to solve for, right? Again, just like the V2 to V3 migration, this is another complex process where you're trying to aggregate your multiple stores into a single multi-storefront. And it's a large and complex process. Ideally, you want to use tech tools to streamline that process. That's what merchants are looking for. They want to reduce the cost and complexity that's inherent in this migration process. And data is difficult work, and ideally they're looking for a repeatable process so they can iterate over this migration and get it right. And certainly, the merchants don't want to just operate with a data layer. They want visibility and control over the migration process. They want the ability to configure how things are done, during the migration, because there is data harmonization that needs to be done, because same data could be coming from multiple stores. Some merchants are looking to also have an easy way to cleanse and enrich the data or prepare it before they migrate it into an MSF store. And so to solve those challenges, we're providing a migration service that leverages some existing tools that we have that include data connectors and migrators and a PIM system. Our service essentially migrates the entire catalog from multiple stores into an MSF store, and it also migrates a whole bunch of other things that are all API accessible in BigCommerce, and that includes customers, orders, themes, landing pages, blogs, and more. So the idea is to streamline that whole process and automate much of that. And what the service also provides is a way to configure the elements of data harmonization that needs to happen, because the same product data could be held in different stores. There could be differences in how the same thing is called or used, and when you bring it into MSF, there's an opportunity to sort of fix that data and harmonize it, and ideally through configurations and not coding. And if there are merchants that are looking for data cleanse enrichment as part of the migration instead of just a lift and shift, we will use a PIM that can serve as a staging area for data prep, review, audit, and sync to MSF. So that's our migration service, and I'll provide some more details on that service. It can manifest itself in more than one way. We're currently looking into the feasibility of launching an app for the MSF migration service that we are currently performing. The app would allow you to aggregate content from multiple stores into a multi-storefront. And as I was mentioning, this would transfer the catalog, the customers, your orders, and a whole bunch of things like that. And we're looking at maybe launching this early next year. At the moment, it's a service we offer, but we're looking ahead and we're saying, we want to launch an app that can encapsulate the service to a large extent. So that's one solution for MSF migration. And as I was mentioning earlier, if there are merchants that are looking for a staging area where they can aggregate all the content, they want to review it, maybe cleanse and enrich it, and then approve it for publishing into an MSF. If they want that kind of a visibility and a tool for enabling that, then we will leverage a PIM solution to enable the migration process to MSF. And we're using that solution involves multiple existing tools. We have a BigCommerce to PIM data migration tool, which transfers the data into a PIM. And then PIM is where you can review, audit, and approve content. And then we have a PIM to BigCommerce data connector that will ship all that data to a multi-storefront, to any BigCommerce store for that matter. So this is a more involved solution because it involves staging the data and data preparation by the users and improvements prior to setting up the MSF. And talking about PIM, so what exactly can you do in a PIM, right? In a PIM, we can use that as part of the migration solution itself, and some merchants may choose to continue to the use of PIM, for ongoing product data maintenance and syndication to BigCommerce and other digital channels. So for those of you that haven't been exposed to PIM, so what can you do in a PIM? You can do a lot of things that you already do in the BigCommerce admin and more, and you can do it much more efficiently and at scale. So you can, first of all, centralize all your product data and digital assets. Merchants often use a PIM to categorize products. These are, we're talking about not just one category, it could be multiple product hierarchies that you might be managing in the PIM, right? One could be your merchandising hierarchy, another one could be your web hierarchy that customers looking at. If you're also selling on Amazon, you could manage an Amazon hierarchy in there or Google hierarchy. So PIM is a great tool to manage categorization to multiple product hierarchies. You can manage multi-language data and multi-channel data very efficiently. Different channels have different product data requirements, so you can manage all that in a central location. At a more basic level, PIM is much more than an ERP system where you're managing just the basic attributes and supply chain attributes. Today's consumer needs a lot more data online to search and select products and purchase them. So that is a lot of extended marketing attributes and values. PIM is ideal for all of that. In BigCommerce today, you have custom attributes. Managing those is cumbersome, right? You would ideally want to manage a lot of such attributes, but in a better tool like PIM to drive a better customer experience. You can manage digital assets, product associations, and recommendations. And PIM is, again, the ideal tool for data enrichment and also managing product data completeness by category. And it allows you to enter product data categories and lists of values and relationships and all of that manually. You can also import them through Excel or CSV files. It has significantly superior bulk edit capabilities to do a number of things that can increase your productivity by as much as 50% based on what we've seen. It can automate data validations, data enrichments, data computations, and things like that to save you time. And it can also help you orchestrate your process flows through workflows, so you have more streamlining of that effort, especially if you're trying to scale your data management efforts. And PIM is also where you prepare the data and publish it out to digital channels like your BigCommerce store, Google, and other places. So this could be another solution that merchants may want to leverage, and it's something we offer. We work with Akinio PIM, which is a very popular solution. We also have a version of it that we host and provide for merchants, and that's called TruePIM. Currently on our website, you'll see it labeled as small PIM. We're very soon rebranding it and improving our offering. So that's TruePIM there. And if you are thinking of leveraging PIM, then one of the first things that you would want to do is migrate all your product content, current product content that's most likely sitting in your BigCommerce store into the PIM, so you can do that initial migration and then start using PIM to manage product data much more efficiently, right? So merchants that are looking to implement PIM, and if they've selected Akeneo or TruePIM, what they're looking for is to solve their initial data migration challenge, right? Essentially, they want to lift and shift their BigCommerce product catalog. That means the products, the variants, the options, the custom attributes, and meta fields and things like that, and digital assets and associations or product relationships. All of that, they want to migrate it into the PIM with as little effort as possible. They want to reduce the cost and complexity involved in that, and they really want to get going with PIM in a few days. It could be as soon as a day or two for smaller catalogs, as opposed to a PIM project that could be several months. That's not atypical. And they're really looking for a quick way to get started and scale their SKU counts and attribute counts and things like that. So that's where our migration tool comes in. So it's a SaaS tool. We intend to release it as a BigCommerce app in the near future, which will let you establish a seamless connection between your BigCommerce store and your Akeneo or TruePIM system. And then essentially extract, transform, and load the entire BigCommerce catalog into the PIM so you can get started with managing data in the PIM, using best practices, using a much more powerful tool, and then sync that data back to a BigCommerce store on an automated fashion. So this is, you can call this an implementation accelerator that can get you up and going with PIM in a matter of days. Another tool that's if you've now implemented PIM, you have BigCommerce Store 1 or more, and you have a PIM, one of the big challenges there would be to synchronize all your product data and data structures and digital assets that you're managing so efficiently in the PIM. You want to sync it to BigCommerce, and you don't want to build a heavy integration there if you can avoid it, right? So merchants are looking to essentially use a plug and play solution that can solve that integration challenge for them. And they also don't want a data layer that some IT person builds, but you don't have any visibility or control, right? They want ideally a SaaS-based tool with UI configurations, which will let you have extreme visibility and control over the process of synchronizing your BigCommerce site from PIM. And they also want this tool to be able to handle large and complex catalogs, because synchronizing product data efficiently and fast and quickly is the need of the hour for a lot of merchants if they want to be nimble and agile about data updates, site updates. And that's where our connector comes in. We have a best of breed an app that's in the marketplace. It's our PIM connector for BigCommerce. It's highly configurable, can work with most catalogs out there without coding. You can schedule product syncs and category syncs from PIM into BigCommerce. It is meant to serve as a self-service tool. Our existing clients are more or less our self-service on that. They deploy it, pay for it, and start using it. The connector does the heavy lifting of, again, extracting data structures and assets out of PIM, transforming it, mapping it to BigCommerce, and finally syncing it into BigCommerce. And this is a critical and essential tool for anybody that's using BigCommerce and PIM, Akinio-based PIM or TruePIM. So we've talked about a number of solutions that we bring together for BigCommerce merchants. So you might be wondering, how do I get started? How do I use these tools? So there could be a couple of paths you could take here depending on your priorities and your needs. So I'll just quickly talk about one of those. So if you're in a simple case, if you're on a V2 store, you're looking to modernize your tech stack, and you want to integrate BigCommerce with other enterprise systems, the first thing you want to do is use our V2 to V3 product migration app to automate the migration of your store from V2 to V3. Once you got the V3 store in place, if you're looking to implement a PIM, then you could use our BigCommerce to Akinio PIM catalog migration tool, which will essentially lift and shift your entire catalog, the data structures and assets, digital assets into the PIM. And now you got the PIM going, you can start managing data there efficiently. At this point, you want to be able to seamlessly sync all that product data back into your BigCommerce store on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, right? Whatever your needs are. And that's where our PIM to BigCommerce connector comes in. So this could be, a roadmap for you if you're looking to modernize your e-commerce environment, right? And also streamline your product data management efforts. Another configuration of your implementation roadmap could be this, right? You're looking to move to MSF, and you're looking to use PIM to serve multiple digital channels, right? So you could be, as a first step, converting any of your V2 stores using our migration app into a V3 store, and especially if you have multiple stores, you may want to upgrade all of those. And then go through a process of using our migration service and in future our migration tool to transition to a multi-storefront. And once you're on multi-storefront, you could use our catalog migration tool to essentially migrate all that content, product content, into PIM, and then use our PIM to BigCommerce connector to feed your multi-storefront. And if for whatever reason you have other stores, PIM can feed multiple channels, including multiple BigCommerce stores, as well as other destinations like Feedonomics or Google or things like that. And we've streamlined a lot of these processes. If you're just looking to migrate your catalog into the PIM and get started, it could be, you could launch PIM in as soon as 1 week, right, within days, essentially, and get going with that if you're already on a V3 store. So that's a quick overview of our solutions, and I'll take a few minutes here to talk about Fantom Wallet, a client that we helped recently to migrate from V2 to V3, to give you a flavor of that project. So Fantom Wallet is a seller of specialty wallets that come with a variety of options, like version, the size, the colors, the clips, and things like that. So they had hundreds of SKUs for a given wallet. And so the problem or the opportunity that they were looking at was, they wanted to migrate to V3 for multiple reasons. One, they wanted to stay ahead of the curve and not wait till BigCommerce might end support for V2. They wanted to move to a multi-storefront to be able to sell in different currencies. And as part of that process, they wanted to consolidate their 4 different stores where they're selling the same products into MSF. And for all of those, upgrading to V3 was a prerequisite. However, the challenge was that the company didn't know how to do the migration. They didn't want to learn how to do it. They saw a lot of risk in it, and it was also a lot of unknowns in terms of time and cost involved. And that's when they sort of approached us to help them migrate to V3. We use our V2, V3 product migration app as part of the process. And as a best practice, we recommend merchants sign up with Rewind to back up their store in case we need to restore it. And then our app helped Fantom Wallet preview the migration results in a sandbox store first. And once they were satisfied, we went ahead and used the tool to upgrade them to V3. And the whole process took a few hours, so it was minimal downtime. They put the store in maintenance mode, and a few hours later we were done. And then now, the store is running V3 fully. It's been several weeks, no issues were reported. The company found the migration to be very simple, and it was successful from their standpoint. It saved them a lot of time that would have otherwise been needed to learn how to do this and then do it and deal with any risks and issues that might have cropped up. So in the end, it was not disruptive at all. It avoided a lengthy downtime and any potential lost sales. And we, as a testament to the service that we provided through our tool, we've had some good reviews from Hubert, the founder. And I believe we have talked about this also on our landing page on the website. So before we go into a Q&A session, I thought it might be helpful to show some screenshots of the tool, just to give you a flavor for how that could be. So the different tools I talked about. So one of them, which is getting a lot of traction at the moment, is our V2, V3 product migration app. This is how it looks. You can install it from the App Store on BigCommerce. You sign up for an agreement, you configure your V2 credentials and your sandbox credentials, and then you go through a process, a 6-step process that's guided to migrate to V3, right? Step 1 is to generate a bunch of useful catalog reports and migrate the products to the V3 sandbox store so you can audit them there. You can download the reports. Step 2 would be disable Google Shopping. Step 3 would be to unlink all the option sets from your products, V2 products, and delete any V2 configurable fields you might have. We need to recreate those as modifiers in V3. So all of this happens through the app. Step 4, if you've done step 1 through 3, you will see a banner here in BigCommerce to update to V3. You click on that, you update, and then step 5 is where much of the heavy lifting happens again, where all the V2 products are converted into V3 products, right? The options are recreated, the rules are processed, the SKUs are regenerated, and the modifier options are created in case of configurable fields, all of that. And then you finally enable Google Shopping if it's applicable to you. So that's a quick look at the guided tool, the guided experience that V2, V3 tool provides. Another one I talked about was the PIM itself. So this is a quick look at the PIM. This is where you manage all your products. You can categorize the products. You have extremely flexible search mechanisms. And then you also have a lot of bulk actions possible. You can edit any attribute data. You can change the status of the product. You can categorize them, move between categories. You can group them you can group variants under a product. You can link products to other products, cross sells, upsells, things like that. So there's powerful bulk edit capabilities, powerful data organization capabilities that truly help you scale your product data management efforts. There's a lot of visibility and control the tool provides, and there's a lot of permissioning that's possible here. So you can have governance mechanisms built in. So you can even outsource some of your product collection efforts to third parties without worrying about, risks of having third parties enter your systems. And the system is also extremely API accessible, easy to integrate with any other surrounding systems that you might care about. So if you've got the PIM going, then you need a connector that'll transfer everything you're managing here, which would be your product categories, your product attributes, your products, variants, things like that, into your BigCommerce store, and that's where our BigCommerce connector comes in, right? So this is another app you can install in your BigCommerce store. You will connect it with your PIM, and you would define what you want to import from the PIM into BigCommerce, either as a one-time basis or on an ongoing basis. You can schedule these sync jobs, and then you will do your mappings where you map the data in the PIM into the target attributes in BigCommerce. And this includes name, description, things like that, prices, and it also includes images and swatches, custom fields, modifiers, and things like that. So it's extremely configurable. And then you've got options to sync products and sync categories manually based on all these setup configurations, or you can also schedule these, so you can set them and forget them, and they'll run every day, right? Typically, you would want all the changes from the last 24 hours synced over to BigCommerce automatically. So this was a quick look at some of the tools. For more details, obviously, you can go to our website, StrikeTru.com. You will find a lot of details here. If you go to the solutions, you'll find a list of our services, including the migration services for BigCommerce. And if you go to apps and tools, you will find landing pages for our connectors, our V2, V3 product migration app, and things like that. You can find pricing details, FAQs, and things like that. And of course, you can always request a demo or contact us for more details. So having said that, I will open it up for questions and answers. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them, and I'll take them. If not, I can give you some time back today. So thank you.
Thanks, Vic. Appreciate the overview. And I think just listening in terms of understanding the connections with all the different tools and apps hopefully provided our audience a little bit of further insights on how to resolve some of the challenges, along with going through some of the information online. So as Vic was mentioning, with that being said, everyone, if there's any questions, feel free to type it in the Q&A, and I'm kind of monitoring that as we speak, and we can definitely address some questions, here during the session. There is one that came through, Vic, earlier that I think would be helpful just to further understand, which is around the V2, V3. So the question is, what are the benefits of the product V3 layout? My coworker likes the current layout of V2 and has expressed that they prefer its layout to the V3, which we have running on one of our stores. Are there explicit benefits to the V3 layout? Will V2 become deprecated in the future? Thoughts?
Sure. Yeah. At the moment, BigCommerce continues to support V2, so but they are actively encouraging merchants to move to V3. And I know the layout. There are different user preferences. I'm not an expert on is this layout better for somebody versus another, but the big reason why merchants want to move to V3 is not because of the layout, but because V3 is a more modern way of managing product data at a SKU level, which gives merchants a lot of control for enriching content at a SKU level. This is also how surrounding enterprise systems manage data as a best practice at the SKU level. And so, aligning with the enterprise systems, the best practices around managing product data, being able to integrate data at a SKU level between different systems, having control on content enrichment at a SKU level are the reasons why companies are moving to V3. And of course, BigCommerce is building all its new features only on the V3 product experience, not on the V2 experience. So as a company is growing, as they're looking to modernize their tech stack, as they're looking to do more with BigCommerce in terms of features like the MSF, they will have to move to V3. And I believe at this time the layout is what it is. They have to. I don't think they can customize that on the BigCommerce admin side.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? I'm gonna look real quick on the Q&A feature. Okay,
Dolan, we have received a number of questions as we've been talking to merchants, and we have tried to incorporate them into a frequently asked questions section on our V2, V3 landing page. It would be good to point that out. Several questions have already been answered there, and if there are any questions after this, folks can contact us at sales@striketru.com. We also have a live chat on the website. That's another way they can contact us, and then we can take those questions then.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm just going to check one more time just to make sure there's not any other questions before we close off the session and give a few minutes back. Let me check real quick. Okay. So I think we are good on the questions side for now. If there's, as Vic was mentioning, definitely check out our website. We have pages for each of the different areas and tools and apps that we spoke about today. And also, feel free, obviously, if you haven't already, subscribe to us so we can continue to send you the latest information. We have periodic newsletters that come out and will so by the end of the year. And also continue to like us. If you haven't already, start liking us on our social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and more. So with that being said, thank you everyone for your time today. Thank you, Vic, for the insights, and we'll be sending out the recording after today's session. Have a great rest of the day or evening, everyone. Take care.